Welcome back, welcome back. I am here to excitedly talk about my 67 Chevelle and the chassis I put underneath it, Roadster Shop Spec Series chassis. Stay tuned. Hey. So there are a lot of things that are important in your build. And one of the most important things is the suspension. Reason being, suspension is one of those things that you just can't get around. You got to get in your car, you got to drive, you got to put people in your car with you. You want your family, your significant other to ride with you. And I believe personally, the suspension is one of the most important upgrades you can add to your build. So I'm gonna tell you what I did. I decided to go with a full chassis for my car because I kind of evaluated it. I looked at it. I figured if I bought the components separately, just upgraded my particular stock frame, and it ended up being maybe about $2,000 or $3,000 less than it would have been if I just went ahead and bought the chassis altogether. So it made sense to me. If you have the means to go ahead and get a chassis, I would definitely suggest it. And there are a lot of chassis makers out there if you're thinking about going that direction. But there's also a lot of aftermarket companies out there to build suspension for muscle cars, hot rods. There's a ton of options. So do your research. But I'm gonna go through and show you what I ended up buying, which was a Roadster Shop Spec Series chassis, because I'm not trying to hit the track. I'm not trying to do anything crazy. I just want to cruise down the road, be smooth. I want my car to ride as close as I can to, as they say, the Cadillac smooth ride, but now it might be a Bentley. But for this car, which is over 60 years old suspension, that's a big deal. So any upgrade be better than leaving it stock. So you definitely want to do some type of a update or a build on your chassis. You just can't leave that stock suspension on there, or you would definitely regret it. So let me show you the chassis and let me give you some details on the chassis as I built it, or how I had it built, and I go through the details on that, and show you some photos of when I first picked it up. Stay tuned. Here's my chassis. I ordered it from Grackle Racing out of Houston, Texas. This is still in their shop in the crate. They had just gotten it. I was coming down to pick it up and I shot this video. I was really excited. If you look at the details of the work on this chassis, some of the close-up shots, you'll see what I'm talking about. Tubular A-arms on the top, back and pinion steering. Look at the weld, look at the details of the welds. When I ordered it with the brake line kit, so they done bent all the brake lines, as you can see, going through. You notice the engine mounts are already there, they'll bolt on. See the brake line, front and rear. It's just super nice. Cross member right there for the tranny. When I ordered it for a 4L80 transmission. So that's what I got the cross member for, but I later changed the transmission I was getting, and I went with the 6L80 transmission. So I had to call them up and order a 6L80 cross member, which is no problem. They sent that out to me as soon as I purchased it. Bolts right in to the existing, cross member mounting points. Strange 9-inch housing. Strange 31 spline axle. I didn't order the third member because I wanted to pick and choose what I want to put in there. I know I want to run 370 gears with the 6L80 transmission. And I decided I'll probably end up going with the Moser third member. As you can see, those little tabs there in the back, those are for the fuel tank. You could just mounting points. So I called up Rick Tanks. They make a tank that'll bolt right in, drop right in between the rails. Box, single adjustable coilovers. Man, this thing is just really, really pretty. I love looking at it. Look at that. Just such detailed work. Really, really, really nice. And you could tell how much more rigid that would be than the stock one. Stock ones, it would have been twisting and turning all over the place when you put any power on it, any type of a torque. My engine's going to be a 416 LS3, 416 cubic inch LS3, naturally aspirated. I'm not doing any supercharged or anything like that, but I probably will have about 500 horsepower to the rear wheels, more than enough for what I need. I just want my car to run nice and smooth, no issues, less problems, less maintenance. I just want to get in and drive. You notice the little cutouts there for the trunks. Again, look at those brake lines, how they ran them, all nice and smooth through the frame to the back. As you'll see a little later, I'm gonna show you how I emulated that on the opposite side, the passenger side for my fuel line. That box right there is all my accessories, like the transmission mount, motor mounts. I had a gasket for the third member in the rear in there. The manual with all the torque specs for all the, when you take it apart, you go get it powder coated. 2-inch drop spindles. I'm gonna order bare brakes for this. 14-inch in the front, 14-inch in the rear. 6-piston brakes. So I wanted to shoot this video for you guys because you just don't usually see the detail on these Spec Series chassis. A lot of people see these chassis, you see like a quick clip. But I wanted to give you a little bit more detail of a walk around, and you can see the craftsmanship on how they made this chassis. I was really, really happy with their work. If you get a chance to see one up close and in person, you can really appreciate the amount of time and effort that went into putting this thing together. Really, really good work. Sway bar, look at that sway bar. Oh, I don't have my front coilovers at this point because they were on back order when I got the chassis. They came in, I ended up putting them on the car when I got it home. So they came in about a couple of weeks later after I got the chassis home, but wasn't a big deal. See that little clip of the original chassis right there? It's no comparison. This is the clip of it when I got it to my house. Sitting in the garage, tearing it down, and this one I got the Goonie wheels. Those Goonie wheels move around. Those things are nice. That's my little car dolly I'm using. Take the car off the frame. Now everything's prepped for me to run those fuel lines on my frame. Let me go ahead and show you the tools I was working with to run my fuel lines on my chassis. Give me 1 second here, let me show them to you. So, I got my tube straightener here. This is my tube straightener. Then I had used my deburring tool. This is a deburring tool. I use to deburr the tube lines. I use these clamps here. These are the clamps I used when I was clamping them to the frame. Obviously, this is a stainless steel pipe I use. You can get this from Summit or Jegs, and I'll show you a little close-up of how it looks when I flared it. Okay, Oh, let me show you the flare tool. Let me find my flare tool for you. Oh, here it is. This is the flare tool I use. Get you a close-up shot of that. And I'll provide a link to all this stuff in the description if you guys are interested in it. And then again, tap and die set. Need to make a tap and die set to get those screws screwed into my chassis, whatever. Oh, let me show you what I use to bend the tools. Let me see. This is my tube bender. I got a rigid 3/8 tube bender that I use to bend those tubes. I put it in my vice grip that I use to bend them. One of the important things about that is when you're bending the tubes, you got to make sure if you're bending it from the right side or bending it from the left side, the bend will be different. So I had to learn that the hard way. So I ended up doing my runs twice. But when I'm showing you how I went through the bends and everything like that, when you see the finished product, I didn't videotape me doing the bends or anything like that, but I could go through and I will show you what it looks like after I completed it. So go ahead, I'll show you the video. Let me get the camera turned around and kind of show you what I was doing with my bends. One of the fuel lines were a little bit tricky, but one of the reasons I really wanted to do the hard fuel lines was because I don't have to worry about having to pull apart any flexible fuel lines or having issues like that, because our fuel lines will be there, they won't change, they won't move, they don't wear out over time. So I want to have the least amount of flexible fuel lines in here as possible. So just looking at what I've done, you can see how it's running down the side of my frame. Right here I have the fuel filter mounted right in front of the frame there. I had to come out 90 degrees to 180 back through the frame, which came out pretty nice. Through the frame bulkhead right there. And 6 line going directly up, over and down. And these are stainless steel fuel lines, so they won't wear or you won't see any corrosion with these lines. They'll be the same all the time. So that's the reason why I went that route. If you notice, I'm coming up here through the frame. I'm trying to keep it as tight as possible because I don't want to have anything hitting, rubbing, or any issues like that. I was concerned with clearance here with the rear housing travel, but that's why I went through the frame right here. There was a little notch opening right there, right next to the coilover. That's when I came out right here. This is where it's going to be coming down to attach to the fuel cell. You probably can't notice, maybe you can notice that this is a 45-degree angle getting the fuel line approximately 2.5 inches away from the frame, because I have a tab I'm going to weld on and have it go through that tab, put an AN fitting on with a flex line that's going to go directly into my fuel cell. Overall, the process came out really nice. It looks really good. I ran the fuel line from the rear to the front because it was easier. It was easier to get the bends to work properly from the rear to the front. Obviously right there by the fuel line forward. But thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video.